We're rolling out 3 new post analytics to help you better understand how your content is landing. Here's what you'll now see: profile viewers from this post. This is critical because your LinkedIn profile should serve as a landing page. If your LinkedIn profile is optimized correctly, a million people could land on it, and the right people will know what it is that you do, who it is that you serve, the problem that you solve, why you're better or different than your competitors, and where they should go next to take action. Those things should be answered at the top of your profile with me not even having to scroll. Followers gained from this post. Track how many new followers came from a specific post. When something resonates, this helps you recognize it and keep that momentum going. Especially if you're in a phase of growth, you want people to follow you. What I think is interesting is that they don't have connections gained from this post. I wonder why they made that decision. Probably because on LinkedIn, we can only have up to 30,000 connections and unlimited followers. And then the third update was premium custom button interaction. If you're a premium member, you can measure how many people clicked your custom profile button after viewing a post. Whether it links to your site or newsletter, this shows how your content drives next steps. This is especially important on LinkedIn because there is so much of what is called dark social on LinkedIn, meaning that a lot of your audience, especially if they're high level decision makers, do not necessarily want to publicly engage with your content. Why? Because they know that their activity is public. They could literally watch every single live video, every single video that you create. They could read whatever you post in terms of text and documents. And yet I still have clients to this day. The majority of my clients never engaged on my posts until they actually became a client. And some of them will tell me, I've been watching your content for years, and they've never engaged on a post. That can be extremely frustrating, especially if you're starting on LinkedIn. You're like, I only get one like, but you never know how many CEOs are actually watching and reading all of your content and will just withhold engagement until they're actually ready to work with you. So this may ease some of that frustration, especially as you're ramping up your personal brand. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. And again, this is in beta. If you are looking at the screen, you follow the steps, you don't necessarily see what I'm about to show you, I would just wait a week or two because these things usually roll out in waves. So for every single post, you're going to see impressions and you see view analytics. So you'll click view analytics. This got 900 impressions, 564 members reached. And this is the new information: 8 people that went to the profile, 1 person to click on the link. This was more inspirational, so I wouldn't expect this one to do that. But if I'm doing a video where in the middle, I'm like, by the way, if you want to learn more, sign up for the upcoming next free live training at ugrow.club or click the link in my profile, I would naturally want to see an uptick in this. So now I'm going to be doing a lot of testing to see what works. What matters to me most, because LinkedIn is still heavily dark social, is this. When I click this, the majority of the people that read this post, that stopped and engaged with it, whatever, most of them are founders or CEOs or owners and co founders. These are all the people that I want to be reaching. And they are of the company size 1 to 10, 11 to 50, 51 to 200 that I want to be reaching. And the locations are good. You don't just want to double down, because people have this concept that you should just repurpose the videos or the content that may get the most views. But that's really if your only goal is visibility. If your goal is also conversion, there's some context to that, because one video may get the most views, but the top viewers, the people that engage, the cities could be completely wrong. And so you're doubling down on something that is not necessarily designed to convert. For this one, we have 8 people going to the profile. Now, this is very important, especially if you want to grow your newsletter. If you have a LinkedIn newsletter, every single time someone goes to your profile that is new or that is not connected to you, they will get a notification. So for 8 of those people that engaged with that post, they went to the profile, Those 8 people got an automatic trigger from LinkedIn. Hey, do you want to subscribe to Shanae Murray's newsletter? And then they were able to then click accept or ignore. That is how you actually grow your newsletter once you launch it. Why does that matter to me? That matters to me because now that's potentially, let's say 50% say yes. That's 4 more people that now I'm able to reach every single week, at least, or every single time that I publish in their emails. Because LinkedIn, every single time that I publish my LinkedIn newsletter, will send that article to their inbox on my behalf. And it will reach the top of their inbox because it's coming from LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has very high domain authority. It's not going to go to spam, and a lot of people don't block it because it's LinkedIn. We have to be thinking of these things. Now, if they watch something about content and then my LinkedIn newsletter was called How to Be a Better Carpenter, they are probably not going to subscribe at a 50% rate at least. It would be much lower, which is why the title of your LinkedIn newsletter really should appeal to the people that you're trying to create content for and that will resonate with your content. I'm getting a little bit deep, but you get the point. So let's go to this one. Completely different topic. Let's look at the analytics. It got 1 person a click and it got 9 people. So it's technically less effective than just the text post. Although I did get a lot more DMs from this one. That's why there's some nuance to this. And then again, hitting seniors 11 to 50, this is perfect for me. Now let's go to this. This is why live video is so amazing. Profile viewers from this post, 23. Live video got a lot more people in the moment, and this was a pop-up live. This means that I did not leverage the 4,000 connections in advance, weeks in advance, that I could leverage to have hundreds of people live. I got 23 people from this one, double, and it was more fun, less effort. I got a follower and a link engagement. And this actually led to a client. This is why also looking at the back end data and tracking that is very important, because immediately after this live, I got a DM, had the consultation this morning, payment received. And I have another one tomorrow from this live. Even if the numbers were super low, if the profile visits was 1 and this was 1, or 0 and this was 0, I would still prioritize this one if my goal is conversion. And then this one are slides, but they're a little bit different. So it's not about AI, it's about LinkedIn newsletters, profile viewers from this post. What's interesting is I could already see a trend. The live and this post were specific to LinkedIn, and it led to followers. That's a trend that I'm already seeing, and this is why it's important. The one challenge that I would give you after watching this video is almost go back to your last 10, 15 posts and try to look for these trends. It's interesting also that this post is, in terms of company size, not necessarily reaching my demographic, but this was number 2. How could I make this better? It just comes down to making the messaging more specific. Your LinkedIn newsletter does not replace your private email list. I didn't mention company size. I didn't tailor it to that audience. Same for this. What's also interesting is that this could potentially be a signal, because why are you looking at LinkedIn newsletters for business owners if you work at a company with 10,000 plus employees? Maybe you just saw that McKinsey and a bunch of other companies had their biggest layoffs in record history, and maybe you're thinking about launching your consulting business. That happens too, which is why I tell people, don't necessarily assume that someone's not your prospect, because they may have a position on their LinkedIn, but they're already making strategic moves that are not publicly released. So that could also be something that could give me 2 ideas. I could redo that post just specifically for, if you're a founder CEO of a business that has 10 to 50 employees, this is how to do your newsletter in 15 minutes or less. The reason why I would do 15 minutes is I know that those founder CEOs are still in growth mode, build mode. They don't have time to watch a 30-hour course. They would appreciate the utility of that because of speed. I could do another one testing the signal that I kind of assume from that data is that if you're a consultant at one of the big three, whatever, and you're looking to launch your own business, this is how you would leverage the LinkedIn newsletter to build your authority. This is what you would publish. This is how you could get your first potential client from your network. And I could do that. I wouldn't be so inclined to. I would definitely do the first one because of my audience, but there are things within the data that I just see off the bat. Another thing that I could do is literally take screenshots of what I just showed you from the 4 or 5 posts that we looked at and tell some, I almost said someone, tell my best friend ChatGPT. You could give those screenshots to ChatGPT, or the number two AI for me currently is actually Manus AI, Manus. It's more of an operator. It's really what ChatGPT operators should have been, at least in the first iterations of it being released. So I could give it that data and then I could tell it to see things that I may not see initially and tell it to give me content ideas to optimize for profile visits because that's really what you want. It's just like a funnel. The more people you get into the funnel, the more people should take action. If 1 million people landed on my LinkedIn profile today, even if it was the least optimized, there would be a large number of people that would click on the button. And then from that button, a percentage of them, 30% ish, would register for the masterclass. The one challenge I would leave you with if you post consistently on LinkedIn is to audit maybe the last 5 to 10 posts, start looking for those trends, start learning about what's working to get people to go to your profile. Because remember, you could get 1 million content views a month or a week, but if they don't actually click onto your profile, then they can't actually consume the other content that you have there, your live videos, your newsletters, your documents. They can't then go to your website.